Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Gamey Daddy channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. So, Battlecat or XDefiant has now been, fully revealed, and we know exactly what it is. Now, a very interesting thing about this game is, a big question that people are asking is, why in the world are we getting this game? Who asked for this particular game? And, the answer to that is actually quite simple. There's the agent called Money, and Money asked for this game. That's just one side of the story. Battle passes have become this incessant pain in the rear for everyone, in the gaming scene right now. These video game companies, Ubisoft being, in fact, the least of them, wants to actually get in on this action. EA has been farming FIFA for years. They dropped Apex Legends as just a shooter version of what they wished would be FIFA. And I think Ubisoft is looking at this and saying, man, we better take some of this action as well. And so you're seeing that they're deciding to use the Tom Clancy name and that community as the experiment for this particular XDefiant game. Now, here's something that's really interesting. Do you know that a lot of these decisions that were made with this particular game or games like these are actually from the feedback that a lot of players give? You see, when you look at this whole Defiant thing reveal, a lot of people are mocking and making fun, saying who asked for this. The truth is, there is a spec of gamers that have asked for something like this. So if you're on PC or if you're on PS4, PS5, whatever, you can go sign up for early testing. But something's really cool is you can actually get early testing or early play even earlier than everybody else. So I decided I was going to go in and see exactly what the heck this sign up process was. And so I went into register for early chance to play. Believe you me, the very first question is asking, what is your favorite game genre? It's an optional question. You don't have to answer it, but look at the the options. PvP shooter, Call of Duty, Overwatch, or Valorant. PvE shooter, Destiny, Borderlands. Oh, Destiny PvE shooter. Oh, these Division agents that tell me Destiny does PvP better. Whatever. Action adventure, Assassin's Creed, Last of Us, RPG, Elder Scrolls, Final Fantasy, driving, Need for Speed, sports, Madden, NBA 2K. Now, I could answer the question or I could not answer the question. Now, the truth is, many people might pick this and look and say, yeah, this is a favorite game that I like. That data has gone into somewhere for them to be able to say, yo, this is what these people like. Do you play games on PC? Optional. I do, yes. And so if you ask me what my favorite game is and all of this, it is not PvP shooters. They didn't put fighting games here. So more than likely, I'm going to go with the action adventure route and I'm going to just go next. So this is basically my registration process. Thank you so much for registering, blah, 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 blah. And I think it goes to drive home my point that gamers actually asked for XDefiant in an indirect way. They probably just didn't know they were asking for it. Now, I also want to go ahead and preface this particular line of thought that these kinds of surveys have been going on or being, I would say, circulated for years. In fact, the very first of these kinds of surveys that I actually had seen was when a Division content creator talked about it being rumored that, they were actually asking questions. This is before we even knew about the production of Tom Clancy's The Division 2. And so that rumor went ahead and people showed, basically leaked screenshots of these kinds of surveys. And in fact, many of those surveys are a lot more, intricate. They actually have more questions to them than just these particular questions. But those two questions, not only have I seen them in the past, I've also seen them from other studios, other development, places, just asking these questions, on a random basis using different means to just gather and glean data. Other things that they use, I'm not saying this is the only measure they use, by the way. No. There are other metrics that are being used. They look at interactions within their specific already existing games and see how players interact with stuff like that. Another thing too is Rainbow Six Siege. Rainbow Six Siege, y'all told Ubisoft that they did something right. You made them 2.5 billion euros and more, even gave them their own competitive game, event called the Invitational, the Rainbow Six Invitational, which don't be surprised that XDefiant will make its way into that kind of a system by the time they start fleshing this stuff out. So altogether, they didn't make this decision, all of the decisions anyways, in some vacuum, even though some of the decisions are like, what? The hyenas are going to be a faction that you can play as? Like, oh my gosh, that's the bottom of the barrel. Whatever. But you still see that They have gleaned a lot of this stuff from people all over the place. So this is basically what, we're going to be dealing with. We're going to be dealing with kind of how they perceive, what they perceive anyways, from the gaming community to be. But the reality is where I believe that they may be missing something. And what they're missing is that they have a core community of gamers that will be willing to still continue to patronize the games that are already existing successes. Games like your Splinter Cell games, the Division games, and even other games like Ghost Recon games, even regardless of how much stress Ghost Recon brought its own community with Breakpoint. Which leads me to another side of this conversation. Somebody asked me on Twitter today and said, with the Defiant reveal, do I still think there'll be a Division 3 game? The answer is heck yeah. So what? All the 40 million people that have played the Division game are all going to go play XDefiant? That's not the case. Or all the 40 million people are all going to go play Heartland? That's not necessarily going to be the case as well. They're both going to be free-to-play games. And so with that, we'll have some of its limitations. The Division, on the other hand, being a full-fledged title, able to at least draw back another 10 million dedicated audience members is enough for them to be able to make another game. If you ask me where I get the 10 million number, Google it. How many copies of The Division 2 were sold? They'll tell you The Division 2 sold approximately 10 million copies, yada, 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 yada. That's where you're going to see that number. And those 10 million copies were in a specific window of time. If you look at the other people who joined the community when the game went on the $2 sale, the $3 sale, the $8 sale, the $9 sale, which have been recurring in the past months, you can at least say, okay, well, let's just throw in another 350,000 players into that category. And then the people who got a free copy of the game from that GPU or CPU that they bought and they didn't even remember they had the game, powered it up and realized, oh my gosh, this is the best game since peanut butter. They're probably going to be, say, another, few thousand or maybe few hundred. That still continues to drive the franchise, knowledge of the franchise, and exactly what the brand is about. So I still see a Division game coming out in line of the Division 1 and Division 2. This is not something that we can rule out. May not happen, but I say that the evidence weighs likely for it. And again, one of the strongest pieces of evidence that I still continue to, appeal to is the evidence of the associate creative director on the Division 2 and somebody who worked on the Division 1 right now is probably chilling somewhere, maybe just doing nothing on Ubisoft's dime, which is not possible. He's hired to actually create games. Being an associate creative director means you already got the School of Hard Knocks on how to build a game. And we haven't heard anything that he's working on. Maybe he's working on, like I said, the Terminator game in one of my past videos. I don't know how likely that is, but I strongly believe he's more than likely working on a game that has a lot of experience, an available player base, and Ubisoft is just trying to draw all these people into the Tom Clancy universe. Trust me, somebody has never played a Tom Clancy game before. They go pick up Battle Cat, whatever the name is, and they start playing it, and then they find out that there's a bigger lore to these characters, to these agents, to these aspects of these Tom Clancy games. They are more likely to purchase another Ubisoft game that has these same brand names. This is all business strategy. I wouldn't take it personally. All I'll just look for is, are they gonna do well with the brand that I do like, and the brand that I do like is the Division, or are they gonna basically go ahead and sully it up, which I hope they don't. But I don't think these games actually have anything to do with one another. The XDefiant game is being made by Ubisoft San Francisco. They're spearheading the project actually, because one of the producer did say that they have a lot of other studios that they're working with. And then on the other hand, the Division itself is Massive's baby in conjunction with other studios across Europe as well. Division Heartland is with Ubisoft Red Storm, and then we have all this stuff all separated all over the place. So it's not necessarily a big deal. If you're going to play, you're going to play. If you're not going to play, you're not going to play. But I've also seen some Division agents that play Call of Duty say, we're probably going to grind out this Division game over Call of Duty and Battlefield 2042 or whatever the name is, 2024. I can't even remember the number that Battlefield game even carries. And the reason I think many of them are going to do so is because if this game comes out before those other games, it's going to be free to play, and it's just inserted itself into the market in a competitive area where these two companies, EA and Activision, are going to be looking for money, your $60 basically for a recycled game that they've made, while Ubisoft is going to be giving it to you for free. This is the topic of my next video. So stay tuned. If you want to watch that video, you can subscribe, you can like. Hey, you can dislike the video for all I care. You know, honestly, we talk about Division here anyway. So XDefiant is just one of those, you know, outliers that we will probably be checking up on from time to time. Talk to you guys later. Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section. That's actually the more important thing about all of this. I really got to hear what you guys think because I get tired of hearing myself talk. Peace out.